Hola, buenas noches. Hello, is there anybody here?
Night.
Hello,
How are you?
escucham bem?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna wait like 5 minutes to see if more people join us. Let's see. If not, it's only the four of you. Good, I can see more people coming. And here comes more, yay, that's great. Can everybody hear me okay? Hello? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I listen you.
Thank you. All right. So I'll wait 2 more minutes. Let's see if more people join the class, and then we can start. Hello, buenas noches for those that are coming.
Hola, buenas noches.
Hola,
Hola, profe, buenas noches.
buenas noches. Okay, I think we can start now. We have just a few people, but better than nothing. How is everybody doing? Good?
Yes, teacher.
It's the
Yes, teacher,
last
and you?
module. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. That's the last module. We are almost done this course. The time flies. This is crazy. Okay, I have a couple things to go over with you before we start the content. So the first one is I have a couple requests to extend the due date for the assignments from the last module. So activity 4 and 5, I extended by Sunday. So if you didn't submit the assignment, you can still do by Sunday. Unfortunately, that is the maximum I can do because I really need to start marking this as soon as possible. I'll try my best to do everything next week because in this third module, we are a little bit tied on the schedule. Okay, so we finish the class on June 5th. And I have, after this day, I have a very short time to post all the grades. So if I keep extending everything, I'm not going to be able to grade all of you for all the assignments. And the final work you have to do, it's going to be individually, and you are 39 people. So it will take me a while to grade everybody. So modules 2, I extended until Sunday. The third one, I'm going to explain the 2 assignments you have to complete. And if there is anybody here that didn't complete anything on the first module, let me know. I'll see what I can do, but they are all graded. Okay. Any questions about it?
Yes, teacher, I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have one problem with the test in the same in the first module, and I
Okay.
send you an email and I never get an answer.
Oh, probably I didn't get it. Let me see.
No,
Uh,
like a month ago. I don't remember. But if you want, I can resend it to you.
okay, so that was for the activity 3, which was the test.
It
That's
was it
correct?
was the test. Yes.
Okay. Anybody else had any problems with any due date with at module 1? Do you guys want me to extend everything to Sunday?
Muchachos, que si alguien quiere que nos extiendan el tiempo de las actividades, o sea, por lo menos de los primeros módulos.
Mm, I guess that it's better because we can look again
Okay,
the work.
I'll do that. Let me make a note so I don't forget. All right. And Juliana?
Yes, I have a question for something else. Uh, we want to know, me and my group, uh, how do you uh, evaluate the weight of a pet or a dog in in the category, and how you evaluate, because we have some trouble uh, measuring that, if it's too tiny, too skinny, or too obese, maybe. In how you measure that.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Uh, we want to know if the weight is okay, or is obese, or skinny. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
and how
Um,
you evaluate that for
mhm,
a food.
okay. So for dogs and for cats, the process is the same. Okay. So do you know the classic body condition pictures? I can show you here. 1 second. Have lots of examples. I'm gonna take this one that is like, I think you can see better. Let me share my screen here. Sorry, it's not going. Here. So we can take any type of guideline for measure the body score for dogs and for cats, that are for cats too. Usually I evaluate the dog in person. So I touch the ribs, I touch the back, and I touch the bum to see how much fat I can like touch and I can see. Okay. So for example, usually if you can feel the ribs with a very, very tiny fat layer, then the animal will be okay in the score number 3 for some measurements and 5 in some other measurements. So for example, here they use a scale 1 to 9 and 5 is the ideal score. And here they are using 1 to 5 and the ideal score is 3. I also observe the animal in movement. I need to see like a clear, oh my God, my English is just not working today. Um, a clear, uh, I don't know the name. Oh my God. Um, I need to see at least the 2 last ribs if the animal is wet or if the it's a short hair. Okay. I also can try to pinch to see how big is the fat tissue to measure how is the animal. But usually looking at them from above, I can see, like if I see this curve here, it looks like the animal is in a good condition. If I can see all the ribs, they are underweight. So like if I can see or I can touch easily all the ribs, they are underweight. So they will be in one of those 2 scores. Okay. Most of the dogs, they are around here. Okay, between 3 and 4 in this scale. Um, and also the pet parents, they tend to feed more than what is recommended. And most of the animals, they are something about here. They are a little bit overweight most of the times. So we usually need to bring them back here. Hey, does that answer your question?
Yes, teacher, it's because we have some trouble establish which one, because someone says maybe three, maybe four. So we want to know if it's a better way to establish that. Thank you.
It's more observing, okay? The secret between these 2 here is you need to see and feel this curve, okay? Another thing is the bones in close to their tail. If you can see and you can easily touch, it means it's good. If it's too chunky, it means it's coming like at this. Okay. There are some breeds that they tend to be a little bit chunky than the others, but you can differentiate between what is a muscle, what is a fat. So you need to touch to see what is it. Okay. And the hair, sometimes the hair, they cause a little bit of confusion. So it's better to touch if the dog has a long hair or the cat has a long hair. Or you can ask for the pet parent to send a picture or videos of the animal when it's wet so that you can clearly see what is the body condition.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Teacher, how applicable is this for puppies or kittens?
Yeah, for puppies, it's a little bit the same, but as they are in a very fast grow, only if they are very obese that I will be concerned, because usually they are like growing and everything is stretching. So only if the pet parent is feeding, overfeeding them too much, that will be a concern because that will compromise the joints and everything. But usually it's not a major concern when they are too young because they are growing. Okay, unless they are overfeeding forever and that's causing something really bad on them. Okay, but usually they become obese after they stop growing when they are in maintenance because the parents they tend to feed the same when they were young, which the energy level that they require is higher. So instead of decrease the amount of calories of the diet, they keep the same, and that's why the animal gets overweight.
I ask because I have been seeing that in very common in Labrador,
Oh,
like the
yes.
puppy. So they are a breed that they are prone to be obese
Yes.
from very young. So that's
Hmm.
that's that's why, because the puppies I have been trading, they have a lot of activity. They have a lot of drive. So it's that, because I have been talking with the pet parents, and they tell me the same. We don't give anything else that you tell, because they are like, very organized. So I don't know if there's a way I can measure it for that kind of dogs in
Yeah,
particular.
it's observing. Like if the puppy is like 4 or 5 months old and it doesn't have the curve, it's probably already obese. And labs are difficult because they are so hungry all the time, and the parents, they think they are starving and something is missing, but it's their nature that they never stop eating, never, never, never. So yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, we need to be very careful. Usually, I scare them so much. I usually show them videos of dogs with dysplasia and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you don't stop overfeeding your lab is not gonna be able to walk by 3 years old. So, and then they are, oh, okay, okay. And they stop giving treats and stuff like that. Okay. All
Thank you,
right.
teacher. Thank you.
No problem. Parents, they are like something you have to be very careful about. All right, so here I'm going to show you the third module. So in the third module, we have only two work to do. One in group, one individual, which is your final one. Okay, before I start, I think there's someone else that raised the hand. Diana? No, someone else. Sylvia.
Doc, one question. I was wondering if you have like experience on morphometric I don't know how to say that.
Measures.
Medidas yes. Morphometric measure? What is that what you say? Um so because I know in cats it's very difficult to like a success classify like a body condition score. So I don't know if you have like the experience to with this tool, or if you think that the body condition score of Wasawa is the most confident tool to assess the body condition score.
I never use it, to be honest, so I don't know how it works. But I know some colleagues that have used, and they are very great with that. Some studies says it's reliable, so it's based on the preference of the professional, like if they are more comfortable using those kind of measurements. That's great. I prefer to observe because it's been years that my eyes are trained to see, and my fingers are trained to touch, and like, okay, this is a score 3, this is a score 7, and this is score this, and that. But if you feel that it's something that's going to help you, use it.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? All right. So The activity number 6, as I said, it's in group, so you can use the same group that you have been using since the first module. And if you want to do it individually, that's up to you. You can do that as well. Okay, so in here, you're going to create a wiki. Okay, how you're going to do that? Just click here and you're going to build your catalog in the platform and everybody will have access to it. Okay, so for example, one group just created, the next group will create one right below the first one, and so on. So in the end, we're gonna have a list of um, sorry, a list of catalogs of all the groups and everybody can see it, so you can use as a material for you just in case you need. Okay, so what you're gonna do, each group will select one type of health problems, the most common health problems that we're going to discuss today and next week. Here I put some examples, but if you want to put something that is not here, it's great too. And what you're going to do, you, based on the classes that we're having today and next week, and based on the materials that is posted for you, you're going to list a couple ingredients that can be a food, that can be a supplement, that can be a nutraceutical, that can be a phytotherapeutic, that can be anything that combined with good nutrition can help this condition in a dog or in a cat. Okay, so for example, let's say I got, okay, I don't know, allergies. Okay, I chose allergies, so I will select like 5, 6, 10, depending on the size of the group, more people, more things that I can include in the natural diet that will support this condition in my dog or in my cat patient. Okay, so let's say allergies. Okay, for allergies has been proven that bee pollen is very great and can help with some allergy conditions to support the immune system. Um, so bee pollen will be one of my ingredients in here. I can put a picture, how it looks like, scientific name, how does that can support the animal, how I can use it. All right, let's select another ingredient. So for allergies, omega-3 oil, they are very great because it supports the skin, and as it supports the skin, it will create a barrier that won't let the inflammatory process for the skin to become something um, like itchy or a damage in their skin. So omega-3 oil, for example, fish oil can be a source of omega-3. I'm going to put a picture of fish oil, name, how it can help the animal in allergic situation, how I can use that in my diet. Okay, and then I'm going to see what other ingredients that I can use in my diet to support that specific disease. Okay, so you can take anything from here or you can take anything that you would like. Yes?
Sure. So it has to be based in a health problem. I can
Exactly.
I can pick, for example, berries, cranberries, strawberry, blueberries, and talk about them like why can be used because they have flavonoids, they have carotenoids, etc., etc., etc. If
You
that could be
can.
another approach, or I have to take it to a useful to use. Yes, you know.
Okay. You can do either way. Okay, I explain this way because it's simple. Look, I'm gonna pick a problem, I'm gonna pick the ingredients, so it's easy. Like, oh, I want to build a diet for liver support. Oh, here are all the ingredients I can use for liver support. It's easy, it's quick. But if you want to use like berries, that is very rich in antioxidants and nutrients, food that is rich in antioxidants, they can support this disease, this disease, this disease, and this disease. That's fine for me too. Okay. Any other questions? No? So here the goal is for you to have like a quick material to take a look just in case you are formulating for an animal that has a chronic condition. Okay, so I need the bibliography. You're gonna list the nutrients in an organized way. Pictures are more than welcomed. It makes everything beautiful. You use the description and you show the benefits for that specific health problem and why you are selecting this type of food or this type of supplement and how it can be um, included in the animal diet, right? So here you click create a page and that will be here for you to build your wiki. Once you are done, you just click here and it's great. Okay, I'm just gonna ask you to be careful if there is a group working on it for you to give some space and start working a little bit below just to don't mix up the work for everybody, and also make sure you include the name of all the group members in here so I can evaluate everybody and give the grades to everybody. Okay, any questions?
Let's see how it works.
Yeah, it's been good so far. Let's see. If you cannot upload in here or if you have any problems doing here, join a Word document and send to me by email. Okay, I'll get that too. Okay, Adriana, you're mute.
Sorry. In resume, the group choose one case and specific and explain ingredients, functions, benefits, bibliography,
Yeah,
and create in wiki.
exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And this work is for what day?
This is for, let me see
I
here.
can see.
Yeah, it doesn't have here, but let me see if I can have this. Oh, here. June 2nd. Okay, if you need a little bit more time to complete this, let me know. I put this at June 2nd because the other one will be June 5th, which is the last day of the class.
Thanks.
Okay. And the last one, just let me just stop this so I don't make a mess here. Okay, so this is the final evaluation. So it's going to be individually. You are going to pick pick one. If you're a vet, for example, or if you have been working in a case, you can take a patient of yours if you want, or if you have like the agreement with the pet parent to use it. If not, you can create a fake animal. That can be a dog or it can be a cat. Okay, that has one of the conditions that we're going to talk about in the third module. Okay, so it can have diabetes, it can have liver disease, it can have chronic heart disease, it can have allergy, it can have any of the conditions that we're going to see. Okay, so you're going to create the case the same way you did for activity 5, where I need to have the name of the animal, the age, the body score, level of activity, the history of the animal, and as the animal is having a condition, describe a little bit how is this condition, what is the level of this condition, for how long this animal has this condition, just to understand a little bit how the animal is doing. Okay, please don't do like a terminal cancer patient, because this animal problem is not going to eat the diet that you are going to formulate, or a very bad liver or kidney disease, because those type of condition we just want to give them quality of life because they are in the last day of their life. Try to pick something that at least the animal will be living for a while. Okay. All right, so you are going to formulate the diet for this animal. That can be one dog or that can be one cat. And you are going to give the animal the support with the ingredients that can support that disease. Okay, so I want to see the formulation, the transition, supplements, the supplements to support this disease, and a brief description to the pet parent on how to do it. Okay, so it's very similar than what you did at activity number 5, but you have to include the ingredients to support this condition. Okay, we're gonna start to see that today. Let me see what else. Yeah, so anamnesis, the calculation of the diet, supplementation, transition, options of menus for that type of disease. And that's it. So I'm going to check the creation of the case. You can pick a real one or you can create a fake one. Formulate the diet, including the transition plan and the menu options with the ingredients to support that disease, and how you explain to the pet parent how this works. Okay, any questions here? Yes.
I want a question about the commercial recipes. In our group, choose different brands, but we take a problem for identify the level of the groups, the food groups stay complete, because normally in the ingredients list, the brands take a continued list, but you cannot take the clear information about amount of the ingredients. For
Yes.
example, something say carrots, beans, but no take clear the amount. what's the form that you can identify this one?
Okay, so for that specific work, this is something that you can include as an observation, a negative observation about this brand. Okay,
Okay.
so for example, if I would recommend that to a client, I would not pick that brand because it's not clear for me how much they use for that specific ingredient. So I cannot put in the software to see if the diet is balanced or not. Okay.
Really,
Um,
any brands take the exactly amount of the ingredients.
mhm.
Take a list, and we suppose maybe it's a good brand, but it's not exactly. It's it's not it's not easy for us, or it's not possible for us take the really true about this one. And
Yeah.
other problem that we found it's with the analysis, the protein. No, four of the five brands that we choose, it's no clear, no take the normal guarantees analysis. For example, two brands, when you plus the total of protein, fat is more than 100%. If you, it's impossible to take the exact list calculates.
Mhm.
Yeah, we write this one,
Yeah.
and we are surprised with this one
Mhm.
because it's
And
not
this
normal.
is good because sometimes we think, oh, this brand is very good. And then when you start to analyze it, you're going to see, like, oh, this
No.
is, yeah, I know, I get it. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing is, for example, we look the one brand take 28 to 34% for protein, and the other brands make 10 or 15 maximum protein.
Oh, this is less than the minimal amount recommended.
But we are surprised. Really, it's difficult.
It is. It is. I don't know how it is in Colombia, but here in Canada, unfortunately, it's something that is not regulamented. Some of them you can see they follow a FACO, that they follow NRC, that they follow this, and that. But most of them are like very new companies and they are not reliable.
And we try to choose that the brands take the ICA, the ICA register, but we are confused. We are surprised because we can't understand what happened with this brand and what happened with the requirements
Mm-hmm.
in this situation.
Mm-hmm. I don't know in Colombia, but here when I see something like this, where is it? Um, Forgot the name. One second. Oh, here. For example, this brand, I have, let me see. I'll get beef. Oh, where is it? I know they have somewhere the complete, uh, uh, see, where is it? I don't remember where is it, but maybe here. Here. They say here that 84% is protein-based, 15% is plant-based, and 0.5% is the supplementation. So when you see the ingredients, you can imagine how much for each might have per kilo because they put in here. And there is another thing that I cannot find right now. That they had before in here, the amount of ingredients. So as I know that 85% is animal-based protein, I'm gonna get that chicken, beef heart, beef liver, it is under 85%, okay? There are some other brands that they are a little bit more specific. I'm just trying to remember the name. This one. No, not this. Here. They have all the description of everything, and they have the analysis of each nutrient of this meal. So this is very reliable because I can see everything. But most of the brands, they don't have it. Okay, so if I'm going to pick one to recommend to a client, that will be this one because I can see everything. If I put all this in the software, that will give to me that for sure this will be balanced. It's very transparent.
No, here is the web page are terrible in many brands. We take to obtain the ingredients of the package. No, in the web, and it's that's one disadvantage because in in uh, in the moment that you need to reference the food, you can take the information. If you
Yeah,
don't take
but you,
the product, you
yeah,
don't have the information.
yeah, you can put on your assignment this observation, like they don't have this, they don't have that, they don't make this clear, because unfortunately, yeah, sometimes
Okay,
we can't have it. It's not gonna be your fault, it's the brand's fault, right?
okay, thanks.
No problem. Okay.
Sorry.
Let me go back here. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Any questions about this last evaluation? No?
No, teacher, it's fine.
All right. So let's start here. We're not going to be able to finish this today. It's a lot of things. So I'll start today and I'll finalize next week. And in the last week, we will be working on the software. Okay. Let's go. So we're going to talk about functional diet. So functional diet are the type of diet that supports any kind of condition that my animal can have. So usually we use specific nutrients that will help to alter the genetic expression in a way that it can help to prevent, it can help to control, or it can help to even, depending on the case, revert a type of chronic infirmity. Okay, so the first step for us to use a functional food is select a diet that is rich in those type of food. Okay, because doing that will be indicate to the epigenome that we are having a genetic expression that is healthy. Okay, as we saw in the first module, the epigenome, it can change all over the life of us, of the animals, and providing then a good quality of food with good nutrients, bioavailable nutrients, we can change this genetic expression. The second step is reduce or eliminate the type of food or things in the environment that send a message that it's damaging the epigenome. Okay, so that way it will stop having a genetic expression for things that harm the animal's body. Okay, so usually when we're talking about a chronic disease, for example, cancer, liver disease, kidney disease, heart conditions, allergies, or any type of disease that was caused by an inflammatory process, we have to select good quality of food and try to eliminate food and environmental things that is still causing more inflammatory process. Okay, just to help us with the treatment. um, Depending on what we have available, I know that in some countries we might not have available with a good price, for example, organic food, okay? Or sometimes we have available, but it's very expensive. We have to work with what we have, okay? Here I want to point the differences between a good natural diet with functional food versus the prescribed diet that everybody here knows what it is. So the most famous one are Hill's Diet Science and Royal Canin. There are lots and lots of studies on those type of brands. They have partnership with lots of universities and other institutions, but the way they are made, it's for a general public. Okay, for example, if I have kidney support Royal Canin for a dog that has kidney stones, okay, it's not going to be the same for the animal that has kidney failure. Okay, but most of the times the vet will prescribe the same diet for those both conditions. Correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not a vet. So in a natural diet, we can personalize for that specific individual, for that specific disease. Okay, I'm not saying that this is not going to help the animal. Of course, it's going to help compared to a normal kibble or a natural diet that is not balanced or it's not helping my animal with that specific condition. Yes, this is going to be very good, but I can make it better. I can make the ingredients more specific for that individual, for that specific condition. Okay, usually the ingredients in here, they are limited, and most of the times they are synthetic, and most of the times we have lots of conservants and lots of additives that is helping the body of the animal to cause more inflammatory process, and it's basically not helping the condition as the way a diet like this could help if it's more personalized with ingredients bioavailable. Okay, I think someone raised a hand.
Yes, teacher, it was me.
Yes. Okay.
I would like to ask you, and it's about some ingredients, because you told us in past classes that copper, zinc, iodine, vitamins D, and vitamin K was very, very important for pets.
Hmm.
But I would like to ask you if only with the natural food, only I'm talking only with the meat, only with the egg, only with the vegetable, is enough to fulfill all the requirements, or it is necessary to take into account an external supplement. I would like to ask
Yes.
you that.
Only the meat and the vegetable and the eggs, they are not enough. It will be missing nutrients in there. That's why we have the supplements that can be synthetic or that can be natural. Okay. For example, in this plate here, you can see supplements or food that are used as a supplement. For example, eggs are used as a natural supplement for choline and vitamin D. Okay. Probably this is seeds, a blend of seeds. So I don't know this diet, but it looks like it's balanced because all the nutrients that I know that might be missing, it's getting supplied by these natural supplements in here.
I
Okay.
ask this because, teacher, to be honest, I am for the team natural food. I for the team, but in these postgraduate studies, I don't know, I have an idea that the food that is in, for example, like Taste of the Wild, that all balanced food has all the ingredients that the pets need. I know it's not too delicious as natural food, and more times it's not, the biodisponibility of the protein is not the same. Meaning, when we compare with the synthetic food, to, say a name, but I think that, for example, you told a natural supplement for vitamin D could be egg. But for example, for iodine, zinc, I have some problems to fulfill the requirements with natural food, with the same natural food, because we have less information that the other information. Natural food is for me is only has 10 years that have been
Mm-hmm.
implemented in pets in the
Yep.
world, while the other foods have been more or less 100 years. It's very, very different. And I would like if you could help me and could help my partners about a supplement, natural supplement for that
Mm-hmm.
five mm, ingredients that we
Yep.
need. For example, for vitamin D, egg. For
Yeah.
vitamin
Vitamin
C,
D, eggs, and fish is the most common ones.
for D,
So
fish,
vitamin D.
D,
Yeah.
fish,
Yeah. Eggs and fish. Okay. For the minerals,
copper, zinc, and
seeds.
iodine.
Yeah. Iodine, you can use either kelp. Okay, kelp is very, very, very rich in iodine, or any other type of alga. It's rich in iodine. You can use iodine salt, the table salt that you use for people, that is enriched with iodine. And you can also use avocado. Avocado is rich in iodine too.
Okay. Can you repeat the first one? I didn't understand you for
Kelp,
iodine.
sea kelp,
Sickle?
Teacher, sorry.
kelp. Hmm.
So I have a question about the avocado because
Yeah.
I remember we talked about it in the beginning of this course, and we had like this kind of conversation. So I don't remember the toxic of that the avocado has, but I remember it's around the seed, the
Yeah.
pit
They.
and the peel.
Hmm.
So if you have to recommend a pet parent to feed, or if you want to So you would tell him to take a part of the avocado from where
Yeah,
exactly?
it's just the pulp without the brown things. Okay, so the
Mm,
brown
the
is
peel, like like
yeah,
the
the
peel is
brown
around the seed.
peel,
Okay.
yeah, around the seed and around the peel, the casca.
Uh-huh.
Um, they are the ones that have the anti-nutrient. If it's only the pulp, only the green tank, green, very soft tank, it's very, very nutritious and has just a little bit of percene that is not gonna cause anything to the animal.
Okay. Because, y perdóname que te haya interrumpido, Jaime, sorry, because I interrupt. Because here in Venezuela, at least, I don't know if in Colombia I didn't see it that common as I'm seeing it here. Uh, there's a lot of avocado trees, so I see
Okay,
every day dogs that eat and eat and eat and eat a lot of avocado. Like, they don't peel it, they just eat it. And I have never seen an intoxication. So why is that?
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like the amount of percene in the leaves and in the seeds and in the peel, it's high, but for dogs to be very intoxicated, they need to eat like a lot. And the poop doesn't have the amount that will intoxicate a dog. Okay. One thing that can happen if the animal has, for example, pancreatitis or is very sensitive to fat, yes, that can cause a vomit, that can lead to a pancreatitis because the animal is not used to it. Okay, we're gonna see the same thing on keto diet for animals that has cancer. We cannot go for keto to a keto diet in 2 days, in 1 day, in 3 days. It's a process. The animal will be compromised if I change the amount of fat of my diet and increase that a lot. Okay, so everything is a process. We need to make the body use it to it. Okay, any other questions?
No, teacher, thanks.
All right.
No te preocupes, Andrés, tu pregunta estaba muy interesante.
Mm-hmm. And Jaime, in the materials, there is a list of natural supplements. There are lots of options in there for you to supplement for those ingredients that we mentioned. Okay? So, one of the categories of ingredients that compose our natural diet, especially the cookie diet, is the carbohydrates. And as we discussed in the first module, some kinds of carbohydrates, they can not be good for certain kind of diseases. Usually we use them because they're cheap, because it's easy to find, and because the animals like a lot. Animals, I'm saying dogs, because cats, they cannot have this amount of carbohydrate in their diet. Um, but we need to make sure we are selecting the right carbohydrates to make our diet more functional. Okay, so for example, if I'm taking a white rice and a brown rice or a multigrain rice, of course, the brown rice and the multigrain rice will have much more nutrients than the white one. Okay, so according to the type of vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients that they are requiring, more concentrated, it's better I choose this type of carbohydrates. Okay, so they might have lots of benefits, for example, carotenoids, flavonoids, antioxidants that can support some kind of diseases we're going to see very soon. Okay, so
Can you return the last one second, please?
yeah.
Thanks.
Teacher,
Yeah.
sometimes we use the iodized salt. I don't know if you are, but for us, for humans, I don't know if that could be using dogs or cats.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You can use.
Thank
Okay.
you.
No problem. All right. So, sometimes we don't need like high carbohydrate food in our diet. Actually, we actually don't need them very much. We can substitute them in some cases for only vegetables that is lowering carbohydrate. Okay, carbohydrate that I'm saying here, it's carbohydrate that is rich in glucose, not fiber. Fiber is always good for them. So we are going to choose the ones that are rich in vitamins, in minerals, font of phytonutrients and antioxidants, because the antioxidants, they will help the body to deal with the toxins that we cannot avoid. For example, cleaning products that we're using in our house, um, toxins that people use when they are planting the food, things that are in the air. So things that we can avoid, so the antioxidants can help the body to deal with them. Okay, so usually what is recommended to avoid is rice, especially the white one, cevada, oat, or any other type of carbohydrate that are rich in amido. Okay, um, because we can have bad intestinal health, that can cause a more inflammatory process that can lead to some diseases that they are there for genetic predisposition plus inflammatory process. So when we have a food that is rich in glucose or rich in amido, we might have a higher predisposition for allergies, organic dysfunction, um, bad digestion, um, the syndrome of irritable intestine, dysbiosis, and any other problems that is caused due to the immunologic system. Okay, so the authors, they always say that a low carb diet plus a good intestinal health will help with the inflammatory process, that will help the animal to deal with the disease better, combined with the treatment that they are doing with the veterinarian. Okay, so here is a little bit of what happens in the body. So when we have a high rate of glucose or amido, the pancreas will release more amylase and more insulin, and that will lead to the suprarenal gland to relieve a higher level of cortisol. And we all know that cortisol is the stress hormone that will cause some immunological dysfunction, and with a higher period of cortisol in the body, that can be caused by the food, that can be caused by behavior, that can be caused by external causes, will increase the probability of immune disease, infections, cancer, hypo and hyperthyroidism, Cushing, Addison, pancreatitis, diabetes, and many other diseases that are caused by inflammatory process. Okay, so what are the type of carbohydrate that we can use, which is helping my animal to deal with the inflammatory process? So the cruciferous vegetables, which means broccoli, bok choy, yes, they have oxalate. Okay, so remember that we use them 2 to 3 times a week maximum, but they can be used to support unless the animal has kidney stones that are caused by oxalate, and then we're going to avoid them. But for the other diseases, yes, we can do use them. Jaime?
Teacher, I read that if we cooked, for example, the carrot, you don't have the problem of oxalate.
Yes, it decreases a lot the problem of oxalate. We have to drain very well the water. Okay, that water has a high concentration of the oxalate, but cooking the vegetables, it minimizes the amount. Yes. Very good point. Maria Fernanda?
What would be the ideal time to cook the vegetables?
The same amount that we cook for us, okay? Because the animals, especially cats, they don't have the ability to break up the fibers naturally. So either we cook them well so they can chew it and break it, or we need to process them in a liquidificator process, um, the machines to break them very, very in tiny pieces. But cooking them and processing them is even better, but it's a work extra for the pet parent to do. But that's what I
Okay.
do here. Yeah, I
Is
cook
there
the same amount of time I cook for me. For example,
okay?
broccoli, like 3 to 5 minutes, it's enough for it to don't be too hard and be better. Yeah, and you can see the color will change. So when you see the color changing, it means the oxalate is getting away from them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Another thing you can use it's fruits. So berries in general, they are very, very good. They are called superfoods. Apples as well, they are very good. Papaya, they have their benefits too. So there are lots of fruits that we can use as our portion of fruits and vegetables. Some cereals that has no gluten, vegetables with dark green leaves, and some leguminosas like beans and others that, yes, we need to cook them very well, but sometimes they have their benefits for some conditions. Any questions about carbohydrates?
Sorry, teacher, I'm a little bit lost. So we want to use some kind of carbohydrates, but some kinds of those, the ones you listing here. Well, we don't want gluten, we don't want almidon, we don't want that at all. So we have, if we want to be, for example, because it's easy to find, ¿cómo es que se dice? Integral.
Mm-hmm.
Integral rice, I don't know the name in English. So we can use it because it's better than the white rice, for
Exactly.
example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we don't want to use, for example, yuca, or we can. I mean,
Or potato. Yeah.
okay, so we can, but we shouldn't because it
It's
would be
has
better to use
less
a milk.
nutrients. It has a high level of glucose. Yes. So usually what I use here is quinoa. Okay.
Okay,
Multigrain rice, the arroz integral.
okay,
What else? I use the pumpkin as well. Sweet potato, it's good too.
okay,
Um, that's basically the ones that I use the most. So if it's a cooked diet, I will opt for those ones. If it's a raw diet, I don't use any type of carbohydrate. I will use the vegetables that they have carbohydrate, but I will group them as vegetables.
Okay. Teacher, and sorry, y ya para que pase a la próxima pregunta. When you have a menu, so you, for example, just uh, taking another part for 1 second, you have like, you tell them to have like, no, forget it. Let me think about better the question.
That's okay. There is someone that has a question to Evelyn.
Yes, teacher. We can use cooked oatmeal. I mean that I have seen that it helps with digestions. As well, in theory, they contribution energy that it's necessary for dogs. But I used a lot because they like, and I do with organs.
Mm-hmm.
Vaso, buffet, and the other question is that um I read that the broccoli, it's better cut in a very small pieces and leave for 90 minutes and then serve it. Uh, do you recommend do it, or better cooked the broccoli?
I like cooking then because it makes them more tasty and also easier for the animals to digest. And I am taking away a little bit of the oxalate. Okay, so if you can use both, if you can cook and chop them in very tiny pieces, it's even better.
Thank you, teacher. And with the oat,
Oat is fine. Oat is fine, but the animal needs to be used because that can cause gas if
uh,
we just give them out of nowhere. So start with a little bit and increase the amount gradually so the body gets used to it.
but always cooked.
Always cooked. Yes, always, always.
Thank you.
Okay. I use oat a lot for animals that are underweight because it's high in calorie and it's very tasty for them. So usually I do like a oatmeal for them and it's helpful.
¿Preguntaste por avena?
Sí, señorita. Digamos, es que yo la hago mucho como con, o sea, pongo, no sé, bofe, pajarilla, lo que sea, y con esa agüita que bota, yo la combino con la avena hasta que quede como un paté. Pues realmente la uso mucho de pronto cuando hay diarreas o algo así. Ayuda bastante.
Ah, ok. Cocinar.
Y qué pena, compañera, y dijo que correcto el uso de la avena, entonces.
Sí, señor. Dijo que la usaba mucho, pero que siempre darla cocida para que sea una energía que el animal pueda aprovechar y pues además obviamente pues digerir, o sea, aprovechar energéticamente y pues que haga bien su tránsito a nivel intestinal.
But the
Y que ayuda
last,
mucho en los animales para subirlos de peso.
Ok,
but,
ok.
but
Perdón.
the last one is like, you say the oats is not good. I don't understand.
It depends on the case. Okay, so if I am dealing with a diabetic patient, of course I'm not gonna use it. But for some cases, I can use it. Oat doesn't have too much gluten. Actually, it doesn't have at all. So depending on the case, I can use it as an option. For example, quinoa is too expensive. Multigrain rice is very expensive. So yes, the oat can be an option. But if I have other options that are better, of course, I'm going to use the other ones. Okay. I'm going to avoid if it's a condition that I cannot use it because that can spike the glucose and that can create a more inflammatory process. But in the case that she said for diarrhea and this and that can be used. Yeah, no problem. Or underweight animal, it can be used.
Sorry, what is mood group?
Animal that is underweight, very, very skinny.
So to finish my question about carbohydrates, the option to use is quinoa, pumpkin, potato, and you told
Sweet potato.
sweet potato.
Yes, the other potato, it's not very nutritious.
And you told two more.
Pumpkin, sometimes I use as a source of carbohydrate, and multigrain rice.
Multigrain.
Mhm.
I'm a little confused with that
Ese es el
expression.
integral, ese es el integral. Ella lo que
¿Arroz
dijo,
integral?
ajá,
Yeah.
el arroz integral, la quinoa,
Ok, ok,
el
el
sweet
arroz
potato, que me
integral.
imagino que es la
Sí.
batata, la avena. Otra cosa de la avena que dijo es que lo que pasa es que puede generar gas. Entonces lo que hay es que irla metiendo despaciecito para que no les vaya a dar gas. Y
Pero
también pues
batata.
que la calabaza, pero la calabaza allá no es la misma que acá, porque allá ellos tienen la calabaza naranjada, la grande. Nosotros
Sí.
tenemos el calabacín, por ejemplo.
Ah, pero sí dijo que el arroz integral, entonces.
Ajá, sí, el arroz integral. Sorry, teacher, our question in the chat.
Okay, let me unshare my screen because I can't see the chat here.
So Juan Gabriel asked the next. We have in past classes talk about that the rice was a very good option or a very good option, like a source of an ingredient. So now that because it didn't have gluten, but now we can say that it's a good option, but you have to take it like with caution in certain patients or in general.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm not gonna say you're never use rice, or you're not never gonna use potato, or you're never gonna use this, or never gonna use that. But if you have the option, they will be in the last portion of my list because they don't offer me too many nutritious ingredients. They between white rice and quinoa, for example, quinoa will give the animal much more nutrients than the rice. So why I'm gonna waste my recipe with rice? Oh, but that's the only option I have. Yes, you can use it. It's not gonna kill your dog.
Ok, let me translate. Bueno, ¿usted entendió? Bueno, todos entendieron. El hecho es que ella dice, el arroz es una opción, ¿cierto? Pero, o sea, si tuviera otras opciones, sería la última, básicamente, porque, o sea, al final el aporte de nutrientes que tiene es menor que cualquier otra de las opciones que ya nos dio. Puede ser mejor la quinoa, puede ser mejor la batata dulce, en ese caso. Que solamente puede utilizar eso, sí lo puedes utilizar, pero hay cosas mejorcitas.
Muchas gracias, Andrés.
Hágalo.
Okay, two more questions, Sylvia.
Yes. In relation of what Evelyn said about broccoli, and in my experience, cabbage and cauliflower um, generate a lot of gas. So, in your experience, is better like raw, like is softly cooked or overcooked to prevent that on dogs specifically.
Mm-hmm. Again, like the oat, start with a little bit. And if you see the animal is not dealing well with the gas, it's producing a lot of gas, just don't give to them. Some animals are more sensitive than the others. Okay. My dogs, for example, they have zero problems with cauliflower, for example, or cabbage. I can give them the amount I want because it's fine for them. But I have clients that a very tiny bit of cauliflower can create then a very bad situation. Okay, so yes, depending on the animal, I usually cook the same way we cook for us. Okay, so when I can just like press with my finger and it's soft enough for me to break it, it's good.
Thank you.
Evelyn?
Yes, teacher, have you read anything about the order to of food to intake to give to provide the animal? Because I read that in humans, um, it depends on the order of the food that you eat, that increases exponentially or not, the glucose peaks.
Yes.
It's the same in
It's
animals.
the same. It's the same, but the animals we can't control too much the order. Usually we do what is practical for the parents. Everything goes in the same bowl at the
Mhm.
same time, and we don't control too much because that will be one more thing that they have to do in their busy life. So, yes, there is this research. I think Karen Bacher published in one of her websites last week or 2 weeks before about the same thing you're talking.
And do you think that in animals with diabetes, we should recommend to the owners that they must have or give the food, um, in an order with an
If they
order?
can do it, and if that's gonna help the dog, yes. But most of the times they won't do it.
Thank you, teacher.
No problem. Okay, let's move because otherwise you're not gonna finish. Okay, so proteins. Proteins is the higher amount of our natural diet. Okay, and as I said in the beginning, it's important for us to rotate the types of protein. We can rotate the species, we can rotate the type, and we can rotate the cuts from the same species, just to provide the animal the essential amino acids that they need to have with safety. Okay, so what are the kind of proteins that we call functional proteins? Some products that is dairy products from my English is gone again. These two species here, okay? Eggs from any kind of species, fish, low in mercury. Okay, so for example, tuna is usually very, very high in mercury. I don't want my animal to be intoxicated because they are already dealing with a disease. I'm not want to give them another problem. So low in mercury, like a smaller the fish, lower chances to have levels of mercury in it. And muscle meat and organ meat, especially with animals that the animal never tried before. Okay, so for example, I'm dealing with an animal that is high allergic to lots of things, and I made the test. Some of the most common proteins, they are sensitive to it. Yes, we are using a novel protein for them. Okay, yes, that can be very expensive depending on the situation. For example, I have clients that can only have kangaroo, and it is very expensive. I have clients that can only have like a rabbit. It's very expensive. Or hunting meat. It's very expensive. So sometimes if the pet parent doesn't have the condition to deal with that, um, it's hard. It's hard to find a solution. Okay. Also, same thing. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna use the white meat, but compared to dark meat, it has higher level of some nutrients than compared to white meats. Okay. Eggs, organic eggs has higher level of omega-3, vitamin D, and vitamin E compared to the eggs in large scale that are producing large scale. So if I have the option, yes, I'm gonna get this type of eggs. If I have the option, I'm gonna get dark meats from birds, okay, instead of white ones. I'm not saying that we cannot use them, okay, but I would prefer these ones. Okay, even better if I will prefer novel animals to treat a condition. I know it's expensive and not everybody can deal with that.
Teacher, it is
Yeah.
true that eggs is a source not only for vitamin D, but also for iodine too.
Or what?
Iodine too.
Iodine,
Eggs
it's a
because
very
because
minimal. It's
there are
very,
minimum.
yeah, it will not supply all the iodine amount that they need.
Okay, teacher, thanks.
Okay.
Sir, one question.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen that, well, here in Colombia, we use like hen eggs, like normal egg. But I saw in some uh, places that they use quail egg, like the
Mm-hmm.
one, and other places have like dog eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your experience, which is better, or what do you recommend to vary the diet from with this ingredient specifically?
If you can mix, it's better. It's like the meat protein. Okay, if you have like a variety, it's even better because more nutrients range I will get. For eggs, same thing. However, chicken egg it's much cheaper and more accessible to everybody.
Thank you.
Quail eggs, they are the best ones.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Adriana?
I want to take clear. Did you say it's better the leg quarters of chicken than the breast?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. And
no
with
problem.
the pork meat, no have problems with the dogs because in the humans, for example, with allergic problems, for the similar genetic are restrict when take allergic problems. In the dogs, not take problems.
I never seen a dog having problems with pork before, but we're gonna get into allergies. I'm gonna show you a test that we can do to see if they have allergies.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sometimes, and that happens a lot, we're like, oh, my dog cannot have chicken. Okay, chicken, I don't know why they put something there that chicken cause allergies. And lots of dogs, they cannot have chicken. Lots of cats, they cannot have chicken. But the pepper never did a test to confirm if that's chicken allergy or not. The first thing they cut is the chicken, poor chicken. But sometimes it's not the chicken. Sometimes it's something in the environment. Sometimes it's another food source that is not a protein that is causing the sensitivity. So um, we must do the tests.
Thank you.
Okay, so oils, functional oils, they are also important. Oils, they give us source of omega-6, omega-3, some ácido linoleic, and lots of other acids, fat acids that are important to, oh my goodness, I just got a tornado alert. Thank you. Um, so, why it's important, the fat acids? It's because they will help the vitamins that are liposolubles to be absorbed better in the organ. Also, it will promote a better neural system for my pet, especially if they are still growing, the brain and spines and everything is growing. It's very important for us to include some of the oils. Okay, we're gonna talk about them when we're talking about behavioral dysfunction in older animals. So oils can help a lot. Okay, so we can have lots of types of oils that we can use. The fat from the meat that are natural in there, externally and internally, they are used a lot. In keto diet, for example, we use the animal fat as source of calories. We're gonna talk more about that later, but in a keto diet, there is a high percentage of fat, so that can be one of the option. Fish that is high in fat, for example, salmon, it's very used and has some benefits. Novel proteins and vegetable oils and fruits that are rich in fat, for example, the avocado. They can be used as a functional type of fat in my diet. Questions? Seeds as well. Seeds is high in some fats that we can use.
Teacher, it's better to give to the dogs, for example, salmon oil or bacalao liver oil, or it's better to give small fishes instead with talking a few moments
Mhm.
for the bioaccumulation of mercury. It's better to give them a small fish or other things that reemplazar this one.
It depends. For example, with my clients, I recommend them to use small fish, for example, sardines, and 3 times per week, depending on the size of the dog, because that can lead me the exactly amount of vitamin D and omega-3 that I am required to balance my diet. If it's too expensive, for example, I can substitute with eggs and capsules of omega-3 to supply the fish. Okay. I have situations where the sorry, something distracted me. I have situations where the animal is allergic to certain types of fish. So in that situation, I will use some oils that are not fish oils to promote the omega-3. Hemp oil, for example.
Thank you, teacher. And I have another one. In some patients, I see that the owner report that it's allergic to chicken, but it's a dog that it's allergic to the breast, but if the owner gives to them wing, it's not an allergic problem. So why?
We're gonna talk about that right now. Okay, that's my first disease. It's allergy, and that's one of the top ones. And usually, if the dog is allergic to something and we don't figure out what is causing the reactions, that can lead to other diseases because of the inflammatory process. Okay, first of all, we need to differentiate allergies and sensitivities because sometimes we think this is the same thing. Okay, so allergic reaction is one thing, and sensitivities, they are another thing. And the sensitivities will irritate the organism and they will create the inflammatory process that with time that will develop other diseases because of the inflammatory process. Okay, allergy is something else. It's an immunologic response of the organism to an agent that can cause death depending on the situation, like anaphylactic shock, for example. Okay, so Usually, and I am very like precise to say that most of the dogs that comes to a allergy problem for food allergy or goes to the clinic for allergy problems, they are not allergic. They have sensitivity problems. Okay. Yes, I already had some dogs that were very allergic to something. Like I had a dog before, like a couple years ago, that he was like allergic to death from coconut. Okay. Like if the environment had something with coconut, he would be very bad. They have to run to the hospital. This is allergy. Okay, these things that we see like, oh, if my dog eats chicken, it gets itchy. This is not allergy, this is sensitivity. Okay, so sensitivity is the most common ones. And usually we have some tests to verify if the dog is sensitive to these ingredients or not. Okay, so the options we have is the elimination diet, which is very painful and takes a lot of time for us to do. Okay, I have used in the past when the DNA tests were very expensive. Now they are not expensive. It's possible to make. So, and it's quicker and more precise than the elimination diet. So, there are some DNA tests that are very expensive still because they are the most popular ones, and they have to go to England, they have to go to United States, they have to go to like specific locations, but they are very popular. The brand is very popular, and that's why they cost like $500. But we have already options that can cost me like $60 and can test sensitivity for like 100 to 100 options. Okay, so I'm gonna show you here the brand that I use in Canada. Here, okay. So this is one of my clients. I ask all my clients to do this test to start with, just to make sure, unless it's a puppy and has like zero symptoms of anything. But even an adult dog that has nothing, it's healthy. Oh, but sometimes itches because of this, or sometimes it sneeze because of that. Do it. So just for us to be safe and make sure it's not something from the food. Okay, because everything that happens with the dog, oh, it's the food. Okay. So in this test here, they do a DNA test from the hair of the animal. They do for dogs and cats. If the food or the environmental thing they are testing, it's in red, it means that it's a severe sensitivity level. If it is in yellow, it's mild, but it's still it is. So if you can avoid, it's good. And if it's green, no sensitivity, so you are good to go. Okay, and then below they list in this dog specifically what caused red sensitivity was this. Okay, so I know that for this animal I cannot use lamb as a source of protein. Of course, onion is toxic, I'll never use it. Fish oil, okay, my source of omega-3, it's here. So I have to substitute for example, hemp oil or chia seeds as a source of omega-3. Like ice cream. Who gives ice cream to the dog? White bread, like people do it, but yeah, they shouldn't. Then I have here the list of mild reaction, like beer, it's toxic. I don't know why they test it, but yes. chicken fat, chicken flavor, chicken meal. So yes, I know for this dog, I cannot use lamb as a protein source. I cannot use chicken as a protein source. And like coconut oil, that is very common. Cod liver oil, source of omega-3, source of vitamin D, I cannot use for this dog. Peanut butter, it's a source of minerals. Quinoa, like I'm very, very strict here with my options that most of the times I use for them. Okay, and here I have the full list with the colors. So in green, I'm safe to use. In yellow and red, I am not safe to use. And here it's a non-food sensitive analysis. So they also use, for example, it's a very high sensitive to bee pollen. So like bee pollen as a supplement for allergies, I cannot use. And I know that now it's spring here, and that might be causing most of his skin problems. Okay. And here, perfume, mint plant, it's a lot in here. Pine has a lot here. So this dog goes for a walk and it needs a solution of water and vinegar or a bath because this is everywhere. So sometimes we think, oh, that's the food that is causing this. But sometimes it's something in the environment. We never know. Okay. This is from another dog. So here I have a bigger list of red ones. So deer, duck eggs, lamb, salmon, coconut oil, bone meal. What else? Chicken flavor, ground chicken, duck, popcorn, quinoa. Some people, they give popcorn as treats, potato, oats, turkey. So I'm very strict with the type of protein I give to them. So for this dog, basically he eats pork and rabbit. That's what I can give to him. Okay, so
Excuse me, how
yeah,
much food is the cost of this exam?
this one is $60 Canadian dollars.
60?
60.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's affordable compared to the exams we have here in the vet clinic. This is very cheap. Okay. And here's the non-food reactions. So dandelion, it's something that has a lot in the streets. Seaweed, pine, perfume. So these are the things that might be causing his sneezy. So yeah. So these are an example of how we can detect allergy. So there are lots of brands of this type of test. They are based on the DNA of the animal. Okay. All right. So for dogs that has any type of sensitivity, any type of intolerance, the first thing to do is identify what are the food that is causing this sensitivity so I can cut it off from the menu, right? I'm going to eliminate this type of ingredients from the diet, and I'm going to opt to find ingredients that they are not sensitive. They don't have this intolerance. Okay, I'm gonna add some supplements and some phytotherapics that will help me to overcome with the inflammatory process. Okay, I'm gonna show you later. Also, combine with these supplements and with this phytotherapeutic, I will make sure the intestine of this animal is in a good condition. Okay, I don't know how it is in Colombia, but here it's very common for us to do a culture of the bacteria that are in the animal intestine just to see if it's a healthy one. Okay, so the basic protocol for allergies, intolerance, sensitivities. First of all, the first step is they are going to determine the sensitivity. They will do the test, for example, the DNA test, and the test in the microbiota, the intestinal microbiota. They are going to improve the diet. So we're going to do a low carb diet because carbohydrates increase the inflammatory process and increase sensitivity. Okay. High humidity food. I will choose a novel protein, a protein that the animal never had before. If that is not possible, one protein that didn't cause sensitivity in the test. I will opt for ingredients that are wholesome and try to minimize any type of synthetic additives, including synthetic supplements. I will opt for natural supplements. Okay, no grains. Also, I can use food that are rich in quercetin, in ortics, in PAA, bee pollen, reishi mushroom, colostrum. Okay, they are kind of sources that I can use because they will help with the inflammatory process. I will combine probiotics and prebiotics. I can either use the ones that the vet will recommend to me, or I can do natural ones. Usually what I use is kefir, water or milk kefir, fermentable vegetables, and as source of prebiotic, I will use tahine. And one more thing is try to minimize the environmental exposure for things that might cause the sensitivity. For example, pollen, perfume, this kind of things I will try to minimize if, of course, I can't control. Every time I walk my dog or expose them to this kind of condition, I will wash the paws with water and vinegar because that helps to clean it. And for example, if the animal itches, it's not gonna cause much harm because, for example, if they step on the pollen and itch their face, probably will be more irritated if that's dirty than if I clean it. Okay, therapeutic bath, and I will opt for natural prevention for fleas and ticks. I know in Colombia it's very hot and fleas and ticks it's something that is a very high concern. So in this case, that's up to the veterinarian to decide. Here in Canada, we don't have so much incident of fleas and ticks, so I can do the option for natural sprays to minimize the sensitivity. Okay. And I will be reducing or eliminate any type of unnecessary medication, chemic products, perfumes, and all the other things that might cause the sensitivity in the animal. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask if you have any questions here, and I'm going to move to the last disease of the day because we are out of time. Questions here? No?
No, teachers.
Okay.
It's good.
So let's move to obesity. And the same as allergy, obesity can lead to other diseases because it increases the inflammatory process. Okay. So usually when we do a diet to control the weight of the animal, we are also doing the benefit if the animal is predisposed to these disorders here or already have those conditions. So it's the same protocol. Okay. So these conditions are directly related to overweight for dogs and for cats. Okay. So one important thing about obese animals, and even if they are underweight, we cannot move them to the ideal weight very quickly. Okay, we're gonna cause problems in the organism. So average, we reduce or we increase between 3 to 5% of the body weight. For example, let me grab a calculator because I'm very bad in mathematics. Let's say I have a dog that is 42 kilos, okay? But the ideal weight of this dog is 35. How I'm going to calculate the first month of light diet for this animal? I'm going to reduce 5% of the weight and calculate that as my ideal weight. Once the animal gets into that weight, then I will reduce 3 to 5% from that until I get to my 35. So for example, I have 40 kilos from my dog. So I'm just gonna reduce 5% from 40 kilos. So my first calculation is going to be under 38 kilos. Okay, so in 1 month, my dog can lose, this dog specifically, can lose only 2 kilos to be safe. Okay, after the dog reached 38 kilos, okay, now I can reduce more. So let's try to reduce 5 more percent from 38. Then I will calculate for 36. Okay, almost there. Third month, I will reduce a little bit more. So I will reduce 3% here, and I think I will be fine. Okay, I reduced 3%, and now I calculate for 35 kilos. That might be the ideal weight for my animal. How do I know? Checking the body score. Like I assume 35 is the ideal weight, but if I see my dog at 35 and it's still overweight, I will still reducing the diet, okay, for the next couple months. Oh, I saw that 36 is fine. I don't need to reduce anymore. I'll stop there. Okay, Andres?
Sorry, teacher, a question about how you handled more than the cat or dog, how you handle the pet parents, because you know, as a culture in Latin America, for example, we tend to be like, I need it now, I need it now. If it doesn't work in 2 weeks, hey, if it doesn't work in 2 weeks, it isn't gonna work. So how do you do, or how do you like? How do you do to make that point clear with the pet parents? I know it's difficult, but how is your approach?
I set targets. Okay, I'll say like if a dog that has 42 kilos goes to 35 kilos in 2 weeks, your dog is gonna be in the hospital because that's gonna cause a very big problem. Okay, so let's do targets. So in 2 weeks, for 42 kilos, let's move to 41.5. Then we're gonna move to 41. Then we're gonna move to 40. Then we're gonna move to 38. And then you're gonna move to this. And then you're gonna do to that because otherwise your dog is gonna be sick. And I know they are not gonna listen to you, but that's the better we can do. Okay, it's like people when they are losing weight, we cannot have it from the next day. So you need to walk your animal more often and you need to follow this recipe. And if you come back in the clinic and your dog doesn't lose this weight, you have to pay more because the follow-up will be longer.
Thank you, teacher.
Do you think that's going to work there? It depends on the pet parent,
I'll
yes.
try. I think we all gonna try, but that's in the most cases, at least in my experience, it has been the most difficult thing to try to educate the client.
I know, they are hard. Yeah, but
Andrés,
usually when I scare them, that works.
Andrés, por lo menos a mí me sirve mucho como decirle, ok, tu perro necesita llegar a tal peso. Y si más o menos hacemos como un cálculo, esto vendría siendo del 1 al 2% peso semana, como para que la gente también como que lo asimile. Entonces yo le hago como el degradé que estaba haciendo la doc como
Sí,
en
sí.
C, por lo menos un perro, pues digamos que puede llegar a bajar una gran cantidad en 4 meses, pero en un gato yo siempre soy súper realista y les digo, prácticamente es un año para que lleguen al peso ideal, porque en gato, pues imagínate el 1% de un gato, o sea, es súper difícil y realmente es como que cuando con el tutor del gato que tenía 8 kilos llegaba a 7,9, nosotros celebrábamos porque realmente eso es súper, súper duro, y más con los gatos
Y
que
eso,
no se mueven. Entonces, sí, ser súper realista desde el principio que tú le digas, el perro en menos de 4 meses tú no vas a ver el resultado. Entonces, es un tema de compromiso y de seguimiento, pero en menos de 4 meses no vas a ver el resultado y ya
ok.
como que es más realista.
Bueno, y la segunda es precisamente porque la pregunta la que quería hacer el ejemplo eran gatos, porque en el gato es todavía más independiente, o sea, tú en un perro tú le dices, listo, sale 10 minutos, sácalo 15 por lo menos. Lo puede, o sea, y el perro es mucho más resistente por ejemplo, al ayuno, a una disminución drástica de la porción. Un gato no, un gato es más intolerante. Entonces, precisamente, ¿cómo maneja? Porque toda la vida lo que hice en los cursos, toda la vida lo que he trabajado, todo lo que he aprendido empíricamente, todo lo que siempre se ha dicho, el gato es muy difícil, es muy jodido ponerlo a perder peso. Sobre todo porque al final, o sea, básicamente un gato pesado se va a quedar pesado. También porque el gato no colabora. Entonces, no sé a ustedes qué les ha pasado, qué han hecho, porque también es el tema de que no solo con la comida lo vas a solucionar. ¿Me entiendes? O sea, no sé qué experiencia han tenido ustedes ahí con el manejo de gatos en ese caso.
Adoptar otro gato, funciona 100%. En serio, este gato
Perfecto.
estaba más gordo y adopté otro gato y ya bajó de peso.
Perfecto, dejo de comer.
Está buena la técnica.
Funciona, créanme.
Si tienes 7 gatos, listo, 8 está perfecto. Otro.
Exacto. Redistribución de la comida.
Everything is more difficult with cats. Everything. Okay, so yeah, we're going to calculate here between 3 to 5% of lost per month. And at the same time, we're going to increase the amount of protein and fiber and reduce the amount of fat, okay? Because fat is higher in calories. All right. Another thing is like the concentrated diet for animals. As you know, it's high in carbohydrate to be extruded, so that can promote the inflammatory process, and that can have a lack of bioavailable protein. So usually the best option is natural food for those cases. Okay. So this is a suggestion of percentages for light diet using still a high amount of carbohydrate. Okay. If you want and if you can reduce the carbohydrate even more, it's better. Okay, especially here in the cookie diet. So if you remember in the first or second module that we have like the recommendation for the percentages where we put the minimum recommended amount for protein and the maximum recommended amount for carbohydrate. Here, for a light diet, this is the maximum recommended carbohydrate. But if you want to reduce this to 5%, to 10%, or to 0%, you can do. Okay, you can really do. Okay. For raw diet, we increase a little bit the amount of vegetables because the fiber will help with the weight loss. So that's the only difference. And that's it. Okay. So if you're using the first option to calculate the diet, you can.
¿Puedes devolver, porfa, un segundito?
Oh, here.
Ajá, 2 segunditos. Ya.
Okay, so if you're using to calculate the amount per day as the first option according to NRC, you can use this formula here for obese animals, dogs in this case. So you're going to calculate the calories per day according to the energy in rest. Okay, we're not calculating as energy for maintenance, and you're using this formula here. Yes, before you do the energy for maintenance. So 30 multiplied by the weight, the ideal weight, and that ideal weight is between 3 to 5% of weight lost plus 70, and then you calculate the rest. Okay, so the type of food that I will be using to control the weight, I will opt for functional food that we saw in the beginning of the class, low in fat, and also that has anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, we're going to eliminate all the pro-inflammatories type of food, like the ones that promote colors, flavors, conservants, antibiotics, sugar, pesticides, and all the carbohydrate with high glycemic rate. Okay, so what we are going to include: protein, a novel protein that is bioavailable, high quality protein. If that's organic, even better. I know it's expensive, but if you can have access to it, good. Coconut oil, unless the animal is allergic or has sensitive to that, but coconut oil is good for their immunologic system, has properties to protect the heart, and also helps to accelerate the metabolism. We are going to use a source of oils and fat, the good ones. For example, coconut oil is one option, and another option, the oils that is rich in omega-3, because it has effect that is anti-inflammatory, and also it's good for their skin, it's good for the whole body. Extract of white beans. It is a supplement that you can buy everywhere. Like here, I found Amazon or these natural products store. I can use it. So the doses for these is depending on the size of the dog, but about 500 to 1,050 milligrams per day. So if it's a small dog, that will be more in this dosage, and if that's a big dog, more on this dosage. If it's a dog that is mid-size, something in between. Okay. And also I will include antiogenic type of food. We're going to talk about that when we're talking about cancer, but they are also very helpful for weight control, because as I said before, When the animal is overweight, they are more have higher probability to develop these other diseases here. And the angiogenic food, they also help on those diseases. Okay. So I think that's it for today, if you don't have any questions.
Can you return for the light to the diets, please? Thank you. Perfect, thanks.
No problem. For cats, it's going to remain the same, but I'm going to do a lower calorie diet. I'm going to try my best to reduce the fat. Okay, choose proteins that are lower in calories, but there is not much I can do. Okay, because unfortunately, cat doesn't take too much absorption from food-based plant-based ingredients. So most of the times I don't use too much like higher in vegetables as a source of fiber. I can use a little bit, like 5% more, but they won't benefit too much from that. They will benefit more for the protein sources, the animal protein sources. So the difference for cat is just try to reduce the calorie of the diet.
Teacher,
Yep,
the formula in the next screen, can you put next? Is
this one
that one is for dogs or cats or both?
for dogs.
Only for dogs.
For dogs, yeah.
Do you have for cats?
I don't have one for cats because cats is basically just reduce the calories of the diet.
Okay.
Okay, I will try to reduce the ideal weight for them by this amount here. If I using the one of the options that we have the formula, but if we use the other option, it's just reducing the calorie of the food. Okay, cats are complicated.
Thanks, teacher.
No problem. Any other questions about obesity and the diseases that are related to obesity?
I have one question about obesity on cats because when they get like fat, they spend a lot of time on like licking themselves. So they often have like constipation problems, problems. So what kind of fiber like supplementary do you recommend on these cases?
I would do, I forgot the name, oh my God. The levedura.
Okay,
Yeah, I will do that. Or I will increase the vegetable portion in 2-3% only, maximum 5%.
thank you.
Teacher, do you use psyllium?
I can use Piscillion, yeah. They actually like it.
There are like some I forgot, but I know like the herbal control plastering from Dr. Clouders, like Malta.
Hmm.
You recommend that?
We can use it. It's very similar than the levedura de cerveja. Um, I don't know how to say that in English. But yeah, it's the same thing, almost the same thing. Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Okay. Any other questions?
What happens when you take a dog that change of weight quickly. It can gain or lose weight. Or what happened with the dogs that for the energy or anxiety level take a less level of weight.
Okay. Are you asking what can happen like in health condition?
Yes, what formula do you use
Oh, the
in your
formula.
experience, what's the form for take the diet for these dogs that it change frequently of weight or take a low level of weight?
Okay, so it's the same thing. Okay, if I have a dog that is underweight, I can increase the weight between 3 to 5% per month. Okay, I cannot like increase drastically because that can overload the liver, that can overload the kidney too. Okay, especially the liver, the heart as well, the joints, everything. Okay, so I will calculate every 3 to 5% per month, see if the animal is gaining weight according to expected. If the dog or the cat is losing and gaining weight very, very quickly, something is wrong with the diet. So the first thing is adjust the diet for this animal to maintain the weight. Okay, usually that happens if the pet parent is giving the wrong amount or the animal is having like a higher level of physical activity and we didn't balance the diet according to the level of activity this animal is having. Okay, so the first thing is adjust the routine and adjust the calories that this animal needs per day so that avoids the animal to lose and gain weight all the time. I had a case actually that if I was doing like a light diet for the animal, the dog, he would lose the weight very quickly, but it's because the pet parents, they were neglecting. They were not weighing the dog often that I asked them to do. And when they, oh, I have to weight my dog. Oh, my dog lost 5 kilos. Okay, that's why it's very, very important if we are doing a process for gaining or losing weight, or if the animal is a puppy, we must weight this animal weekly or every 15 days just to avoid this spike of weight. It's very important to monitor.
Thanks.
Any others? No? Okay. So for next week, we have arthritis, we have cancer, we have cognitive disorder and behavior disorder, and other problems like liver, kidney disease, bowel problems, and that's it. Intestinal, yeah, and heart disease. And epilepsy, thyroid, and it's it. Yeah, so we're having those diseases next week, and after that we are done. So the last class will be all about practicing formulation and using the software. All right. Any questions, anything? All right, so have a great night, everyone. And I see you all next Wednesday.
Thank you, teacher.
Teacher.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank you.
night.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah.